lick back. Get your lick back. If a nigga owe you something, ain't no chit chat. Better stay up out the way, don't get your issue splat. Stop letting this shit slide and get your lick back. And get your lick back. I feel like I'm JX.
J-Way.
I'm a perfectionist. Adderall got me restless.
I'm gone.
Run with a wild crew, they get reckless. Young boy, come up off that neck.
Give me that.
To the trends. See a lead, be the band.
Evening, good afternoon. Is it good? Anyway, but we're back with another Sunday edition of Corner to Copa. If you are here for positivity and optimism and, you know, roses and bubbles, you are at the wrong place, because that's not what you're going to get today. We're definitely going to keep it real today, but it has been a rough one. Coach, where you at right now?
You know, I've been every emotion other than satisfied or happy or content or looking ahead to brighter days. Anything but that. I'm more so just speechless. I don't think there's any other way to summarize it any better for me and other than that, because I think we've been scratching our head for the last 2-3 weeks. It's like more and more every week at everything in terms of odds defying us. And I swear, and I know I mentioned it the other week too, about last year's 0.2% chance. Full circle in 365 days. It's more than humbling.
I mean, at one point we were at 99%, and that was probably just a month ago. That's the cruelest.
99.99%, actually.
99. Like, how is that possible?
Everything short of guaranteed a spot. Literally, mathematically, I mean, that's everything short of guaranteed a spot, which is funny because it's slightly worse than the 0.2% chance from last year. I don't know. That's semantics,
just
but
slightly. Yeah. But so as it stands right now, we are 85-71. We are a game up on the Guardians. After all we say all this, we are still in first place. But you know, holding on by the thinnest of threads, the Guardians. I know they had won their last 10 games, but I want to say in their last 12 or 13, they had won all those games too. So by some miracle, they did lose today. But the loss today marks the end of a week where we got swept twice. First by the Guardians and most recently by the Atlanta Braves, both at home as well. And, you know, a part of what makes it all so, you know, demoralizing is the amount of opportunities that we had, the amount of highs we had late in the game from the Kerry Carpenter home run. I think you went to that game. Which just had to have been electric. And so, like, you want to talk about optimism. At that point, everybody's like, okay.
It was shades of JD Martinez pinch hitting from his return from injury. That's exactly what that was like.
Yeah. And then, of course, Will Vest would eventually shit the bed, which he did a couple of times this week. I think that his second one was on the other electric play of the week, which was Torkelson's 2-run home run to bring the lead to 5-3, which Finnegan immediately upon his return gave up a home run to bring it to 5-4, and then I believe Vest ended up giving up, I don't know how many hits in a row to blow another opportunity after late inning home run heroics. But we coach, you went to 2 games this week. So how do you, we talked about how you feel, but anything else that you noticed? I mean, anything that could go wrong has gone wrong, whether it's, the lack of hitting, the bullpen collapsing, Charlie Morton playing so bad. I mean, I don't think I could have foreseen him not making it through the weekend, but it's not about what I can foresee, because anything is possible at this point. But What else you got?
I mean, we're living Murphy's Law pretty much. Like you said, everything that could go wrong has been going wrong. And I feel like it kind of started at the beginning with some of the defense. Remember, we mentioned a few weeks ago about some of the weird miscues and some uncharacteristic errors or just misplays in the field in general. Things that we normally wouldn't see too often were kind of happening in bunches within, one series. And then, about two more later would happen again. Like everything to that aspect has completely unraveled. And I think this weekend series really highlighted the horrific runners in scoring position. Despite all the traffic that we had in this series, we had our opportunities every game this series, and yet we were still largely blown out or handled in every single game. So while the possibility was there to, come back or, do more of what we did in Saturday's game, which, I got to give credit to Torkelson, had a huge game that game. I think it was a 3-hit game with that home run. And this week he had kind of perked up a bit and really helped buoy some of the offense where guys like, Riley ended a 1-for-12 skid against the Guardians, I think, before the day game single that he had. Didn't do much of anything this weekend, but, it's, again, just speechless. I don't know where to start because it's everywhere.
Nacho Alvarez. That's where it starts. I've been keeping an eye on the Braves. I'm not, ignorant to how talented and how the team is and how much of a disappointment the year has been for them because they do have so many good players. Drake Baldwin, another rookie, but I didn't realize that Alvarez hadn't hit a home run yet. So for him to hit 2 in one game and for Drake Baldwin to follow up with a home run of his own, it just is like, okay.
And those two guys were out of injury, really, because Sean Murphy got hurt early in the year. He's missed most of the year. So you had a need for catcher. I think they ended up either releasing Travis d'Arnaud or they cut him not too much into the season. So they needed some help. So he got the call up. And then same thing with Nacho Alvarez. I think he was a more recent call up last 2 or 3 months based out of kind of need and attrition too, because Albies had been injured. And remember, Acuna only came back in around late June, early July from his second ACL injury and rehab. So and Matt Olson had missed some time. So yeah, they were hit early and often with the injury bug. And let's be real, the NL East continues to be stacked with the Mets and the Phillies too. So, I mean, that's a tough division in its own. So if you can't be above 500 in that division, you kind of don't really have a chance.
And possibly the hottest team in that division, the Florida Marlins. We had to run into them as well. So,
they got some nice pieces too, man. I mean, all these teams. And sorry to say your thunder too, real quick though. The weird trend. Another thing, briefly. How many times did we face a first-year guy this year in the last 3 months who just absolutely owned us, and we made him look like a Cy Young candidate? It was incredible.
Yeah, young players in general. I mean, that Augustin Ramirez guy, I think they said had the most home runs of any rookie outside of Nick Kurtz and probably I think he's the only one that has more home runs than Augustin Ramirez. But young bats, young rookie bats. Wouldn't that have been nice to have this year? But yeah, let's pull up the let's see if we can pull up the playoff picture here. Why not? As for right now, with only 6 games left?
Yep,
we're still in it. Firmly in it. Not firmly, but we are in first place. It's not even a wild card thing. So, there we go. So, as it stands currently, the Detroit Tigers are in the 3 seed.
Playing against this one fucking team I don't want to see.
So Seattle jumped us?
Oh yeah.
So you don't have to you can't just simply win your division. You have to be a top.
No, it's top
2 team.
Here's the thing: if they continue to fall out of this, and Cleveland jumps them, then they'll end up inevitably falling further behind the last wild card team because they're just simply not winning. So, in fact, that now that they're almost even, the wild card is 0, but in essence, it's Cleveland who kind of has it right now. So that's why it's a weird alternate top to bottom situation. But because of the fact that your AL lead was bigger than your wild card, that kind of screws you now. It's more like looking, if you don't win the division, you're not getting in at all, just purely based on the math.
Yeah, which first of all, if you lose out, which it kind of feels like we are going to lose out, you certainly don't deserve to be. I mean, Cleveland will be many games up by the end of this. Well, no. So
yeah, 3 or 4, maybe a 5. I mean, if we really go 0 and they win out, then yeah, it'd be 6 entirely.
Which would be so crazy. But so even if we get swept by Cleveland, they'd only clear us by how much at that point?
Well, they'd have the tiebreaker too. So at that point, I think winning the division can't happen because you'd have to win out and they'd have to lose out. And now they own the head-to-head tiebreaker, first tiebreaker. So getting swept means you're probably screwed at that point. And while you might have a chance mathematically, guess who the other team is? That's the last team that's got the wild card right now, Boston. And if they sweep you, or they take 2 or 3, I think it is, I'd have to double check on this. If they sweep out,
we can control our destiny so we could lose to. Okay, so we could lose to get swept by Cleveland, and still control our destiny by beating Boston.
Control, not necessarily. I'd have to double check on Boston's record here. Let me see here, because if we share the regular season and go 2 of 3 with Boston, let's just say we do get swept by Cleveland. The head-to-head record would be even, right? If we don't get swept, we win. They win 2, it'd be even. The next tiebreaker would be your interdivisional record within your respective division. We don't own the best record in our division. And right now, Boston against the AL East is 30-18, and we're only 29-20 against our own division. So depending on what Boston does or who they play, let me see who they play here, because we may as well talk this out. Because this is happening live.
This is real life.
Happening. Yeah. Dun, 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 across your headline there. I say this with like a sarcastic tear rolling down the side of my face. Oh, so they finished tonight. They still have to play tonight against Tampa, and they have Toronto for 3. The irony of that is Toronto could be a game away from clinching the 1 seed themselves. So they may not need to play everyone in that series, which would benefit Boston getting 3 more division games. And essentially, if they were to take 2 or 3 and we get swept by Cleveland, I think we're almost mathematically out of it no matter what. We would have to sweep out, and we need some help because we don't own some of these tiebreakers that we critically need that against anyone else we do own. So we're mathematically right now, it looks like we control, but boy, if we don't win at least 1 in Cleveland and at least 1 in Boston at the bare minimum, we're in trouble.
Minimum. Yeah. I mean, and that sounds so like ridiculous, like that's all we need. And it sounds so impossible. And I wanted to believe, okay, for the most part, if we experience a sweep at one point, we put that behind us, and with a clean slate the next series, to get swept 2 times in a row at home and get blown out. And well, Cleveland pretty much blew us out. I mean, I think we played.
They manhandle us.
Cleveland?
Put it that way.
I think Atlanta did us way worse. Today,
it
was 6-1. What, 6-1? And obviously, we gave up 10 on Friday, but Cleveland had that extra inning game. So I for all intents and purposes, that game was close until it wasn't in the extra innings. But I mean, those, yeah.
I mean, you want to look at their last 06, 1-8, 2, they're 2-10 in the last 12 home games, and they've not won a home playoff series in 30 days.
Not playoff series.
No, home series. They've not won a home series in the last 30 days.
Yeah. So, yeah. Let's get to the first break. Let's get to the first break, and then we'll be back talking about what went wrong. All right. So we still got the playoff picture up there. So the in conclusion to everything that we talked about, we still currently hold a 1-game lead over Cleveland with 6 games remaining. I don't know if it's good or bad. That I think it's good. Hey, we don't have to scoreboard watch. It all comes down to what we do in Cleveland before we even have to worry about Boston. So I don't know. Nothing that I've seen suggests that we are going to come out of this on the good side of things, but we are in a position to where we can watch the game and there's no other focus outside of what's happening right on the field. New York and Boston and Seattle and Houston, that's irrelevant. You handle your business in Cleveland and you put yourself in a good position to at least maintain possibly a wild card. We kind of talked about it earlier, all the scenarios, but beating Cleveland is the prime objective. But yeah, the elephant in the room is that this team has fallen apart. They have collapsed for all intents and purposes. If you had to put your finger on one specific thing that could attribute to why the team is where they're at, what would that be? I know that's difficult because you can literally close your eyes and take a shot in the dark and you hit either way, but is there one specific thing that sticks out to you?
I'll go from a fairly high level on this because it kind of stems from the transition between the offseason and this year, between last year and this year. And I got to say it probably follows through to the deadline and other things in between. But for me, it's got to be Harris, what he really didn't do in the offseason last year, and additionally double down and absolutely didn't do at this trade deadline, is screaming no confidence, doesn't think this team is good enough. But at the same time, that's his job to make him in a position to be better. And he didn't do that last offseason. All he did was get Gleiber for a 1-year deal. And look, I think, now that we're in the last week of it, I said his numbers were going to be down. He was not going to be that type of hitter at this type of park. And boy, he had a really good, strong first 3.5, almost 4 months through June, I'll say, and a decent July. Wasn't bad, but it was a little bit less than what he had been producing. And then since August, it's pretty much been a slow downhill for him. So if someone wants to offer him a big extension, I have no issues letting him walk. He's been a great locker room guy, but I digress here. For me, it's Scott Harrison is inability to really do much of impact to the guys that they have right now. And ultimately for me, his front office.
Yeah. I think that we rode the high and the vibes of last year in the 0.2%, that whole thing. And it gave us a false sense of, which was my biggest fear in all of this, is that all of the magic and excitement would fizzle out, and we would be left with mediocre players that just can't get it done when it mattered the most. Because you eliminate maybe one bad week. I mean, this week, you can just say this week, you eliminate one bad week and we moonwalk into the playoffs. Instead, the fan base is in pure panic, and there's not a person that would be that I can blame for how they feel. I don't think there's anybody out there left that still believes, honestly. And when it comes down to it, Harris was just too conservative. It's really painful that we wasted a year. This is a year that, we went into it with not super high expectations. I think a lot of people saw the backslide coming, but as time went on, there was reason to believe that even if we didn't have the top to bottom talent to win a World Series, we could at least still just skate by and get into the playoffs. If we were going to lose the division, which is just insane to believe that it's the Guardians, because for a long time, for a hot second, it was the Twins. The Guardians kind of came out of nowhere. The Guardians were the team that was selling at the break, which was us last year. They had Emmanuel. I just can't get past the fact that two of their best pitchers in the rotation aren't even playing right now, and here they are just coming in with a full head of steam, riding the highest of highs. But if we were going to, if we were going to lose the division, it would have been nice to at least got a chance to see some of these young guys get some more at bats. Because at this point, what do we do it for? I understand people saying, hold off on the young hitters like your Valencias, your Andersons, your McGonigals, your Clarks, your Isaac Pacheco's. Hold off on that because we are currently in a playoff race. We are currently in a position to win the American League, be a top team in the whole entire major leagues. So for us to just fall apart at the end, it's like, damn. Well, I guess I wish we would have got a chance to see some of those young guys. What would it have hurt, considering what the end result was, anyways? And just the fact that he's like, well, I want to hold on to. He wanted to hold on to every last prospect. We didn't give away any. We didn't spare any prospects in order to strengthen the team for a playoff push. And I mean, it would have been nice. It would have been nice to see some of these young guys, to see if they were worth it. And the main reason being is that we're still on bought time with Skubal. Like, if you weren't gonna go all in, this is the time to go all in, because now we're in a position to where we don't know what are we building for this last run with Skubal. Do we really know what we have, or do we now know that the guys that we have right now aren't going to get it done? It just leaves you with so many questions as far as what do we do moving forward. But what are your thoughts about that?
Yeah, I mean, to the point of the young guys, I mean, look, I fear what could happen to Jackson Holliday could happen to McGonigal, or really any young hot hitter or prospect that suddenly catapults, within a shorter period of time than most trajectories. That's the fear. And I get it. To your point, too, we're in a playoff race, and and to the same point, too, they mentioned at the trade deadline about disrupting, team character and team chemistry and all that. They're like, it can also have negative impacts, too. So it makes sense why they didn't necessarily rush any of those guys up in the last month or so. With mostly guys that had been up before, or if it was out of necessity, usually an arm that they just needed to have because everything else had been, hurt or whatever, not performing well, that was the more dire need for the extra player having another arm. But to the Skubal point, I mean, I don't think we know what we have next year. And frankly, I don't, to your same point, yeah, there are more questions. There's way more questions, and that's a ripple effect. But I mean, you have to trade him this. If you don't make it this year, you have to trade him. If you don't, I think that's grounds for termination for Harris. And I think the fact that AJ grossly has mismanaged this down the stretch with nothing more than reading an iPad and letting it dictate his decisions for him. I have no problem saying this. He has no sense, no feel of the game, no instinct for the game. I feel like he's just been a puppet in this. As long as he's got a job, he doesn't care. No sense of urgency. He's not addressed the need. From what we've heard, not a single closed door meeting. It's complete opposite from Jim Leyland, and it makes me kind of sick to my stomach. And some of the comments that I've seen from these guys online, like, I know you're not going to admit the bad stuff, right? That's what it is. Okay, we accept that. But you're not going to say the opposite and just sit there and think that ignorance is bliss. You can't just keep shoving swept series after swept series behind. We got to flush it out and start again. How about you address the problem openly? Have some humility, for crying out loud. Like, you're human. Colt was early in the year, and it paid dividends for him. Fortunately, he's not going to be able to see the outcome of this regular season because he's hurt. So, I don't know.
Jace Young, though. We got to see Jace.
I'm holding it together from going nuclear, but I can't promise it's not going to happen the rest of the show. But, yeah, if they don't trade Skubal and we go into next year with him and we make really no sizable signings or of impact, not this 12 minor league lifer bullshit that we just saw over the last 3 months pan out, it's going to set the franchise back years.
Has AJ taken any ownership to it? Because I mean, I have to admit, when, like I said, a lot of the BS that we got away with last year has fallen flat, from the pitching chaos to the platoon lineups with Jahmai Jones, who had a great game this week. I can't really put it on him. I think he's still hitting over. He has an OPS is like somewhere near the thousands, but the Ibanez project is just horrible. Baez usually is in that lineup as well, and the unwillingness to try to let Kerry Carpenter get some at bats in starting situations outside of him just accidentally running into a lefty because we're up or whatever the case may be. But his rigidity and his stubbornness to just go, yes, that is the word, stubbornness, to go against the grain, go against what he believes in, has ultimately killed us in a lot of games. And he doesn't know when to say, you know what, okay, I know this is my concept, this is what I believe in, this is my Bible, but I have to switch lanes. It's robotic. We talked about it. He's been just like, it's like the video games where it's set a certain, there's certain. I remember in Madden when what happens when you get to the 1 minute mark, it the computer automatically calls timeout, no matter what's going on. He calls that timeout at the 1 minute mark, and that's what AJ is. He's AI. His new nickname is AI Hinch, because that's what he is. You know how the AI settings, you can always tell it's AI because there's always imperfections and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's like a derp.
Yeah. I mean, like this picture right here, it's not quite Charlie Morton, but you can kind of tell that it's Charlie Morton. He's got that, that hasn't slept in 3 days, alcoholic, bag under his eye. Like, that's how I feel. That's how my body feels in the metaphorical sense. It feels like Charlie Morton after, giving up, 5 home runs and getting DFA'd. But yeah, AJ.
Yeah, great move starting him against the team he just played for at the end of last year.
Yeah. So I don't know. Yeah, if you're going to be rigid in stand on something. You probably should have stood on skipping his starts. I mean, unless you just knew that you were going to get rid of him after this game. But this has been rough to say the very least. But let's get to another break, and then I don't even know what we're going to talk about after that. Oh God, come on! Now you want to start moving slow.
You can lead it. I got to grab my charger real quick.
All right. All right. So we are back. And I don't know. Part of me wants to, start talking about who could possibly be on the move next year, which is, far too premature for that. But, the wheels are turning for me. But I know at one time we talked about like who was untouchable and how short that list was. I don't know if that was sometime this year or if that was during the off season, but
who's this year?
It was at some point. Yeah, I thought it was some point this year, but
it was ahead of the trade deadline.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, things were so good, right? Up until the Seattle series, things were so good that I feel like I would have been in love with the team and not trying to part with any. Well, no, I'll take that back because I think I mentally traded Meadows, Carpenter, and Vierling, so I can't really say that. But
you're partially right. Partially, you get partial credit.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. So, but I mean, do we even talk about guys that you just can't fathom being around or playing significant games next year? Do we even go down that rabbit hole, or is there another direction that we should take it?
It sounds like it's kind of burning up a little bit. We want to rip the Band-Aid off right now, and then we can elaborate on another show. We can do that. Yeah, you got a couple. It sounds like you got a couple ready to shoot from the hip on. Fire away.
I mean, I feel like I haven't begun to look at the free agency and trying to replace our players with players from outside teams. But I feel like with the amount of talent that we do have at the AAA level, there's certain guys that I just can't that can't sit down there and just mash next year. Max Anderson, Valencia. I think Malloy needs to get more significant at bats. And obviously Kevin McGonigal needs to be in the starting lineup, whether it's at second with Gleyber Torres gone or at shortstop with Baez playing behind him and Sweeney being wherever. I don't really care at this point. But I have a list of 4 guys that I do not want to see in the 40-man roster going into next year. They are Matt Vierling. Love everything he brought to the team last year. He's a veteran guy. He was versatile. He played in many different places, and he was probably our most playoff tested guy. But he was hurt the entire year, and it's just time. It's time to just move on, get what value we can get out of him, which possibly we
got one more year of team control, so you could maybe get him for a low end prospect, someone maybe in high A. But I think, I agree with you there.
Yeah, I mean, I just think that he is what he is. It's not like he's ascending or going to get any better. I think you just need to see what you can get out of one of the younger guys, whether you're, labeling him an infielder, although, I think we all know that he's more of an outfielder, but we need to, I think, at what point do you say, okay, at what point do you say it's time for Malloy to start getting meaningful at bats? He's done everything that he could do this year at the AAA level. He had big hits at the major league level this year and last year. It's time. So Matt Vierling, Andy Ibanez, another guy that, he was a late bloomer. He's now in his 30s. He, had a great start had a bad start to the year, got sent down, was brought back, had a good maybe half to a full month, and he has disappeared. It's time to, once again, wash your hands with him. He's not a starter. There's other guys, there's younger guys that should be getting that opportunity to prove whether or not they can hack it, aka Max Anderson. They're both infielders, and one's on the wrong side of 30. Jake Rogers, Eduardo Valencia probably had one of the better minor league years that I've ever seen. He's got 90 plus RBIs. He's got 30 home runs or close to 30 home runs.
I think he's got 30 or 29, something like that.
Yeah, and I would have loved to see just to get a glimpse, just to see, is this all fluky? Because there's some chance that maybe it is, because he was unheard of going into the season. But I think that we held on to. I think we held on to him. I think we held on to Rogers, Sweeney, and Ibanez too long. 3 guys that were pretty much automatic outs towards the end of the year. And I think that, for what it's worth, I think the fan base would have respected us taking a chance, with one of the younger guys. Jake Rogers, who I already mentioned. Valencia is out of options. He would be a Rule 5. He would be the first pick in the Rule 5 draft. So you're gonna have to put him on the 40-man roster. You're gonna have to protect him in the 40-man roster anyways. You're not gonna keep 3 catchers, even if it does mean that Valencia is a first baseman. Is technically a first baseman. So yeah, I don't think that we can. You utilize. Dingler took over as the primary catcher anyways. So what Jake brings in the dugout and with his defensive prowess, which I don't even know if it's still to that same extent. I don't think it's worth risking parting ways with Eduardo Valencia. So, and then Trey Sweeney, I think he's hitting under 200. You gotta upgrade there, especially if we end up having to hold on to Javi Baez, which we very well may have to do. You just cannot roll Sweeney back out there for another, for another season. I mean, granted, this is his first full season. He got every opportunity. The few days that he did, the few moments that he did spend in AAA. The minute somebody got hurt, which there was always somebody hurt, Sweeney was the first name back up. I just think that if you have any hopes of improving the team, you can't come, and maybe that's just, inviting him to, spring training and then making your decision from there. But you just can't, you can't bring him back as anything really. It's because I think McKinstry has earned enough to where we know he's going to come back, but we also know that he's not an everyday player either. Every day, I mean, with one specific position, I think you can find a spot for McKinstry all over the place, but he's not your everyday shortstop, everyday third baseman, everyday corner outfielder. You can't.
I kind of low key like him as a corner outfielder. I think even though he's made some really nice plays in the infield, he's not a bad kind of pseudo Vierling. I think though he becomes that for both of them. You no longer need it like Ibanez. He's your super Donnie Kelly guy.
Yeah, I mean he's a good corner outfield, but he's not going to play over Carpenter or Green. That's your corner right there, and he shouldn't. In Wenceel Perez, I don't even know where to. It's been so bad for him down the stretch.
But he can use some more tutelage down in Toledo. I think that would benefit him most long run, and then be in a more confident spot to potentially be an everyday guy based on an injury, or if he just stays hot and gets called up because he's too hot to keep down. I think that's probably his best scenario for next year.
Yeah, he can't be, because I mean, down the stretch he was and that's I guess due to the fact that Vierling is hurt, but he was forced to play every day. If this was July,
Vierling and Parker were out, so yeah, they really needed the attrition anyway.
Yeah. I mean, he had to play short. I mean, center field for a lot of the time too. So, yeah, I think that if this was July, Perez would have got at least a day off. But because we're down to the final days, and you're not in a position to where you can, where you can play with your lineup, or they were stuck between a rock and a hard place at this point of the year. So,
because remember, they cut Feigler. Originally, he was a center fielder that stepped in for Parker.
Right. Yeah, that's how.
Not last long, and then Perez came up.
I wonder how he's doing. Where is he at now? Phillies? No, that's Matt Manning. Pirates. Yeah. That's where he went, right?
Could have been. I know he signed somewhere, but I haven't. I've been so worried about our own bandwagon.
Yeah, no, I think he went to Pittsburgh. I'm gonna look into that, but Perez has been pretty bad, and going into next year, you can't just pencil him in as your everyday corner outfield. Granted, it was a rough year for him. He was on the IL. He was on a 60-day, and then he's been healthy ever since, right? He had a scare, and we thought that he might be heading back, but it was just Vierling going back. No pun intended with the back, but yeah, so that's my list right there. Vierling, Ibanez, Roger, Sweeney. Those are guys that if you're looking to improve the team, I don't even want to go down the wormhole of, is Riley Green just going to continue to bottom out? I mean, luckily the season's almost over, because I think it could have got dark for him too. I mean, you're going to look at the final stats and say, all-star year, 30 home runs, 100 RBIs. He's probably like 250. So, all things considered, looks pretty good, but he has been bad. Like, him and Perez have been competing for the worst at bats.
He's going to set the franchise record for Ks. I think he already did. He did. A while ago, if I'm not mistaken. He might break 230 or 240 by the end of the year. That's fucking crazy. And sadly for him, speaking long term, that makes me believe, and I think the number shows it, his floor is way lower than his ceiling, which I think is right now. Because if that whiff rate and K rate continues, eventually those home run and RBI numbers are going to come down. I mean, law of averages kind of strongly indicates that's going to happen.
Says he set the record in 2025 with 183, surpassing. He's going to get over 200. Who's Mark Reynolds? I think this is wrong. I think this is total. No, it's not total.
Let's see here.
Because I thought it was Fielder, so I don't know why. Who I don't even know who Mark Reynolds is.
He's got 194 strikeouts as of through today. So yeah, he's going to get there before the end of the Guardian series, because they have his number, and I think he had like 8 or 9 strikeouts in the series just this week. So
I don't think he had it up until this week. I don't think he had a hit against the Guardians.
He did until the day game. It was like a first inning single that amounted to nothing.
I can't find a single season. Oh, Tigers single season.
Yeah, Tuesday, the very first game, Tuesday night, he had a hit and he scored on it, and he was a hit by pitch. But other than that, 1, 2, 4, 6, 8 strikeouts his last 5 games.
Yeah.
He's actually only struck out in a game twice this month.
Yeah, so he reached the total by the 151st game played.
Yep. But yeah, I mean, based on that outfield though for next year, I mean, those are all lefties. My 2 righties would be, if we're not signing anyone, would be Jemai and JHM to round it out.
So who plays center? Well, you're counting Meadows, I'm guessing. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, because Parker in center, Carpenter in right, Green in left, and then you could DH an extra right-hander between those 2 guys, and Jemai and Malloy.
Yeah.
Malloy's hit well in Toledo since he's been down there the last 3 months, showing some more power too, based on the videos we've been sharing and the updates you give done on the farm. So to your point, it's put up or shut up time. He's in a good spot. It makes sense to do it, and it's a feast or famine kind of situation.
Yeah, and he actually had a kind of a freak accident on somebody was stealing second. So when the catcher went to attempt the throw, I think he completed the throw, but on the follow through, he punched it incidentally punched Malloy in the face on the side of the head, kind of. So he missed a couple games, but he has since returned. I think just yesterday he returned. So tough up and down year for him. I feel like some of the call downs have been kind of just random, and I don't know. Yeah. You can't bring Vierling and Ibanez back. I just think that would make zero sense at this point.
I mean, if they got to spend money on arms. If they were to spend money on one position player, I mean, for me, it's a third base.
Yeah,
everyday
third base. Yeah. Who played the most third this year? Was it Baez?
I would say it's going to be close between Zach and Baez, because Baez played it a bit early, but then he got transitioned to center. So I got to say Zach, really. At least in terms of games started. Sweeney may have been some late inning subs after pinch hitting and shit like that, playing third for the ninth inning, but I'm not counting that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd say Zach. Yeah.
And Zach was was a fine option at third base. He had an all-star first half. I would venture to say he fizzled out a little bit in the second half, but he's beyond surpassed any ceiling that we could have expected from him. I mean, this guy was being called to be DFA'd last year, so I can't really complain too much.
I think he's worth giving a couple-year extension to, being the primary glue guy. I mean,
but you just can't you can't have 5 utility guys. Right. You got Javi. Yeah. Javi's already a utility guy, essentially. He's not an everyday guy.
We need to slim this platooning thing down here and start committing at-bats to guys who are going to continuously produce, or at least be of the most ability to impact a game with their at-bats.
Yeah, it was cool and fun at the beginning, but at this point, I mean, to your point at the very beginning of the year, ripping the Band-Aid on the Kerry Carpenter thing, I mean, somebody, like, I don't know. I would have to think that Kerry has conceded and just bought into the fact that I can't hit lefties. Otherwise, at what point do you not allow your most dangerous and feared hitter to not play every day? Like, let him just completely just bottom out and shit the bed for a month before you come to the conclusion that he can't, because there's plenty. I mean, you let Riley, and you said it at some point, I think. You let Riley play every day, and he's hitting probably like 220 this year against lefties. He plays every day without a shadow of a doubt. Granted, he's a better defensive player, so you don't want to lose him in that regard. But if Kerry was given that opportunity, and the fact that AJ is so obvious into the direction, they can plan around it. They know without a shadow of a doubt they could put their grandma out there as a lefty, and Kerry's going to be on the bench. It doesn't matter. He's going to do it. He's like, well, I know it's his grandma, but she's left-handed, damn it. Like, I got to do it.
Mama and then I get a boot. Sorry.
I mean, he's just too rigid, and it cooked us a couple of times. It's just like, you can call it, like, you already know. Without a shadow of a doubt, I don't care what's going on in the game. Jemiah Jones is coming in for Kerry, no matter what. Kerry could have 3 home runs in that game. He's coming in. When a lefty comes out there, and you have to be more unpredictable. You can't be that obvious. It's kind of common sense, but common sense isn't always so common. So.
No, not when you're a robot and AI.
Yeah, AI Hinch.
Fucking pinch hitting Zach McKinstry against the lefty with Andy Ibanez, despite Andy batting 260 against lefties this year, and Zach batting over 300 against lefties with a large sample size. Shit, I don't know. I think the numbers on that should have made the decision for him. Instead, he still made the wrong decision. I mean, and then the Parker thing. What, game 2 against Cleveland, right? He had a double and a single. He had 2 of their 4 hits. And it's like the 7th inning. He gets pinch hit for Jahmai Jones, who, respectfully, he's had I'll say a solid year in doing what he has been asked to do, and he's probably been among his best in the last 30 days, especially the last couple of weeks at least. He's helped. But why? Pinch hitting for Parker, who's your best outfielder defensively, and it's not even close. And one of your guys that can actually steal bases when he gets on and create some chaos on the mound. Takes the bat out of him and really more so, depletes your outfield by that margin too. Jahmai didn't do anything. I mean, I and then the carry thing too. And here's the kicker with that, the carry thing. He has had a little bit more opportunity lately, and he continues to show that he can do it. Home run, pinch hit, walk even weirdly at times as much as he chases. And, I'm over it. AJ is a horrible manager and has no feel for the game. And the fact that he just lets his iPad tell him what to do, despite what is happening in front of his own damn eyes that we're seeing tangibly, tells me he's incompetent. And he can't win without a can. And he can't win without a garbage can.
AJ's iPad is by far our biggest op, for sure.
I'm over it.
Yeah.
I'd kill for Leland right now, even on wheel him in a stretcher and put him in the dugout.
Wait, who you said Leland?
Jim Leland. Wheel him in a wheelchair if you have to. If he's still breathing and smoking darts, he can still manage.
I mean, I'd love to know what AJ. I mean, not AJ. What Jim really thinks about this, because I know every manager in the back of their head says, "Not wouldn't have did that. Nope, hell no, nope, absolutely not." Like, because Kerry at this point, when he comes up to the bat, everybody's on pins and needles. Everybody's ready. Like at any given moment, huh?
He's him.
He is. And can you imagine if he's not Juan Soto, but could you imagine if the Mets manager, if the Yankees manager, if the pot were even considering the possibility of, let's go with insert random right-handed hitter. Like, we're not talking about like the upper echelon and the top of the top. We're talking just the run-of-the-mill, platoon righty. If they even considered pinch hitting for Juan Soto in any type of crucial situation, the fan base would be up in arms about it. And essentially, Kerry Carpenter is our Soto. I mean, he's every bit as dangerous to go yard as Soto. He just gets less at bat. So I don't know. I'm 100% out on the platoon thing at this point. You allow the guy to. I mean, what is it going to hurt? At this point, but I don't know. So let's take this last break and then let's wrap things up. All right. Any last thoughts before we get into the up? I mean, we've already talked about the upcoming games and but we'll get to the probable starters. Any last thoughts or things? Is there anything to look forward to?
I mean, honestly, for me, if they get in, I mean, unless it happens where Skubal starts, which even that isn't saying too much, sadly, at this point right now. This team can't even win a 3-game series with the starting pitching. Like, look, I know the numbers today say Mize pitched a quality start or close to it, but like 88, 89 pitches through 5 innings, and he gave up 2 home runs. I mean, that's his MO. This guy just gives up bombs. And heaven forbid it gets it's 2-3 home runs with a runner on. Just one runner. Now you're talking 5, 6, 7 runs. But he's been horribly inefficient since the All-Star break, despite having to fight through some of these games like Flaherty. But you got no one else to trust. Kiter Montero did get roughed up a little bit just the last outing, but for the most part, he's been good. But can't really count on him for more than 3 innings to be really clean. Maybe 4 if you're lucky. They can't survive a 3-game series of pitching the way they got. And I don't talk about in their inept offense.
I think it goes back and forth, but I don't know. The starting pitching has actually been all right. Like my
numbers wise, it's taxing the bullpen still, though. I mean, Canley's pitching 2 out of 3 games right now. We're in serious trouble.
I think Canley pitches every day. Now, every time I look up, he's out there pitching.
Honestly, just sit his ass down and let Jake pitch. While he's on the roster, he's actually been fairly effective as a pitcher.
Yeah. So, yeah, the hitting.
There's just no faith. Even they get in, what are they going to do? Win the wild card game? Maybe. But beyond that, they don't have the pitching. And their offensive inability right now just kind of furthers the fact that they just get annihilated.
Yeah, the team. Yeah, at this point, the team is very meh. It's not one thing that I can hang my hat on and say, "Yup, this is the strength of the team." Everything has been just so up and down and inconsistent, and it's really a shame because we were on fire. We had 6 All-Stars. Our bat boy went to the freaking All-Star game, for Pete's sakes. I mean,
Hinch was front runner for manager of the year.
Oh yeah. There really wasn't too much to trip out about outside of we had a lot of injuries. Every center fielder that we thought of spent time. I think were they all in the 60-day? Vierling, Meadows, and Perez.
I don't think Wenciel ever was.
Yeah, he was. He's back. He didn't come back till June.
Oh. Well, Parker Vierling played a lot early, and then he got hurt. So I don't think we would have been close. Vierling would have been close to Parker, but yeah.
Outfielders was Manuel Margot. I mean, Vierling. I don't know.
Kreidler, Margot.
Yeah, we were Kreidler, Margot, Carpenter, and Green.
Yeah.
Like who would have? Yeah,
with Malloy, right? Didn't he have Malloy?
Nah, Kreidler made it over him.
That's right. Yeah.
Margot got hurt pretty quick, and then
after he had a good stretch, he had like 350 before he got hurt.
Yeah, it was like a week and a half, but yeah, he was good out the gate, and nobody ever picked him up. So that says a lot.
Yeah, I think that's probably his retirement.
Yeah. Which means he had no business starting the year as our starter, but it's neither here nor there.
It's fun while it lasted. You'll see his jersey 70% off this offseason.
So are there probable starters for the next 3 games in Cleveland? Or is it 4 games?
Yeah. 3, just 3. Day off tomorrow. So they'll play the next 6 straight days. So it's going to happen fast here. Looks like they've redacted one of the games off national TV already.
Good.
Nobody the only one left is Friday. The only one Friday night is going to be on Apple TV at Boston, the first game of that series. I don't know why, because they're TBD and we have Casey Mize, but we'll go from the beginning. Tuesday will be Skubal against Williams. Wednesday will be Flaherty against Tanner Beebe. Thursday is a TBD for us. What looks like is going to be a Kiter Montero / opener situation, maybe with Holton against Messick. Friday night in Boston will be Mize against TBD. Saturday mid-afternoon, Skubal against Early, and to wrap it up will be, well, it's probably going to be TBD too, because it says Morton against Giolito, but, he no longer on the club. So
you got to update that, whatever.
I don't know who they're going to throw unless it's like a Melton opener situation or, I have no idea. I couldn't tell you.
Melton, that's one name to look forward to next year. Him being in the starting lineup or him
Uh,
being
he
penciled in.
right now is playing like straight booty cheeks, and
Has he been bad?
oh my god, he's been giving up runs. He's giving up home runs. I think his last two outings at the least. But he's shown me nothing to maybe be more than a long reliever himself.
Oh God, she's not cut out for the. Oh no, his CRA is 2.79. These must be runs that were not credited to him.
Which doesn't really, tell the whole story.
Yeah, but you don't have to worry about that when you're a starter. He's not going to be a long reliever moving forward.
I mean, if they don't sign anyone, I mean, right now, unless they do, if they don't do anything,
is not going to start the year. Go ahead. It's my bad.
I think he should be ready. I think, right?
How long is Tommy John? It's just one full year, or is it under a year?
I don't think it's a full year anymore.
Really? How long was Strider out?
About 8 months or so, 8 to 10, maybe 8 months or so. I mean, he got hurt in April or May, so
yeah, it was early. It was definitely early.
I mean, it's 10 months right around spring training. So I mean, I would expect him to be ready close to after opening day, if not on opening day. But I mean, you're basically counting on him being back though next year, regardless. So
at some point, I guess, yeah.
Whoever has his spot will be temporary, anyways.
Okay, so you got Skubal, you got Flaherty by default because he's going to pick up his option, right? It was a player option.
It's already no. It was an incentivized option, and he hit that a while ago. So yeah, we're on the hook for $20 million for him next year.
All right, so you got Skubal, you got Flaherty, you got Mize.
That's Joe right there. I'm still counting Joe.
And then Melton.
Reese Olson.
Oh, and then Reese.
That's why Melton I don't see as a spot other than a long reliever or just out of the pen.
Well, let's look
at everyone else. They're going to need him. So, I mean, it's kind of where he's going to be.
You definitely don't look at it like, oh, we got too many. But, Olson comes. So you're actually bringing back a solid pitching staff.
Finnegan and Vest would be your top three righties. And I'd say guys like, Hannafy, bye-bye.
I'm going to be honest. Vest could be the next Alex Lang. We know how good Alex Lang was for stretches. Who's the other guy?
Well, Brisky, you have no expectation for him next year, none. Between the horrific year and then the really bad injury and surgery he's having, you just got to think that his return is going to be maybe a road that's too long to be achieved.
The person I was thinking of was Foley.
They released him. He left even the minor league. I don't even think he.
That's what I'm saying. He was our closer. He was one of our best relievers for a period of time, and he just fell off the map. Like Vest. I mean, I don't want to put him in that same category, but right now, and I understand how volatile it can be and how things can change fast, but right now, I trust Montero over Vest.
Rafael, yeah.
Right now, I mean, full body of work, no, but Montero's been all right lately. And
what would you pay him next year?
Huh?
What would you pay him next year? He's a free. I mean, he's a rental, so
$5 million. He's our third best. He's our debatably second or third best reliever. So whatever he wants. I mean, he's old, so he's not gonna,
right.
But
I was gonna say, I mean, and I'm not offering Torque more than 7 or 8, and that's kind of what I'd give him.
Oh yeah. But Torque, honestly, Torque is probably the best hitter of the weekend, though. Nobody else hit this weekend. Nobody. Him and Jahmai Jones. Other than that, Green, Torres, I don't know. I mean, Torres had a hit today. I know that, but
Park only had a few hits, but he had mostly walks otherwise.
I mean, Carpenter probably did all right, but I pulled up Melton's stat so far. The ERA checks out. Just barely a 1 whip. Opponent averages all Mendoza. Last 7 days, 182. Last 15, 200, 206. I think outside of that first.
Yeah, but look at his ERA though. Last 7 days, 6. September 3.55. He's been allowing some more runs in his fewer outings. Yeah, 3 innings pitched, 2 earned runs, home run. Yeah.
So he had one. Yeah, he had one bad outing.
Last 15 days, 10 innings, 7 hits, 5 earned runs, 3 home runs allowed, 6 walks.
3 home runs the last 15 days. Yeah.
He's been getting hit around more of late.
The power, he's given up a ton of. Because average is low, but the home runs. Yeah, so I don't know. Middle relief is a shitty place to come in. Most of the time, he's coming in. I don't know. He's a starter though. Long term, he's a starter. If he wasn't a rookie and pitching the most pitches he's ever had in his entire career, he'd be starting these games. So yeah, starting pitching staff. I think we can probably go into next year and hang our hats on as our strength again. But
I don't know. I gotta stop short of saying that just because of how many. I mean, all these guys are gonna have had serious injuries now and recovering or returning from them. School's one in. Job's now 1 in. Reese has now had 2 semi-weird but still kind of serious surgeries in the last 2 years. You just don't know what their shelf life is right now. You just hope you go to the
Flaherty is the most healthy, and he
that's a question mark too.
Career, he dealt with those, but he's been healthy. He's been 100% healthy the last 2 years.
I still think he's not 100% with that shoulder.
He hasn't missed a single start, though. It'd be different. It was like, all right, we're going to give him a break. He's played 2 full years.
I mean, look, we go back to the trade last offseason. The Yankees had him, rejected him, right? Failed physical. Then we traded the Dodgers, and then shit went south for him. He was great 1 game, and he would be absolutely horrendous the second, and that was consistent all the way through the World Series. Why did no other team offer him then this year? We were the only team that offered, and he accepted it 2 weeks into spring training. I'm telling you, he's not been 100%, and they're fine with it, and they're just giving away free money to people who are hurt, like him and Maeda and fucking Alex Cobb. This is stupendous to me right now.
Maybe. I mean, that's a theory, but I think if you're at least the least bit hurt, you miss a start.
He wants that money, man. He had to eat those innings and get those starts to get the 15 and then the extra 5 on top of it. He had to play.
Hey, he's a warrior if he can do it, because a lot of these guys don't.
Whether bucks, baby, $20 million, especially if you know your time is potentially winding down, and that's probably the last big number you'll get. You got to make sure damn well you're going to do what you do. You got to get that.
Yeah, because this is kind of the end of the road for him. So
it means you're going to be bad.
But hey, we needed him. if Flaherty wasn't playing, I don't know. I don't know who would.
He's horrible.
Who would be playing if he wasn't though?
I don't care about his splits against teams that are playoff teams. Can't beat the bad teams. I know his splits against good teams this year is crazy because it's like all of his wins. Where he's like 5-6-0 against playoff teams this year, but who cares when you can't beat the bad teams of your own division to get into the damn playoffs, and you're an extreme liability at that point.
Yeah, I don't even know how that happens. I don't even know how to fully explain. Like,
he's Maeda 2.0 next year. Can't cut him.
Oh yeah, as far as you having to hold on to him. Yeah.
They're not just going to eat $20 million as much as I'd love them to eat 20 whatever Baez is making, $25 million.
I don't think it's worth it. It'd be worth it if like maybe he was blocking somebody, but he's not blocking anybody's shine. That's for damn sure. We need him.
How? We said the same thing about Maeda. We said the same thing about
Maeda's another guy that didn't miss any starts and was just miraculously the most healthy man.
We're like, Cobb will be ready. Cobb will be ready. No, probably going to retire medically. We've said that repeatedly. I mean, we got to stop banging our head against the wall. That's not going to happen. History's told us no.
Yeah. I have a list of the failed free agents this year. Alex Cobb, Flaherty, Brebbia. Remember Brebbia?
Nope.
And then Jose Urquidy. 1 appearance, 2 appearances.
2. That scratches my mind. Go ahead.
Seawall was a trade at the deadline, but
and they're stuck with him the rest of the year. Now they got no other options other than this no-namer they signed in July off of Pittsburgh. Pitched today.
Yeah, he pitched today, right? Yeah, whatever his name is. Yeah. So yeah. With that said, we'll be back next Sunday with another.
I got to do this for our boy Ryan real quick on the outro. Joke player, joke team, joke coach, joke field. Got that right.
No joke field. You can't call it a joke field.
No, it's not a joke field, but joke manager, joke front office, joke team.
So yeah, that pretty much wraps up the show. Subscribe to Bleachers Speakers on YouTube. We'll be back next Sunday with another episode, wrapping up the season. And hey, might be some fireworks. I don't know. We can't be any more disappointed unless I guess we lose on some fluke. If we miss the playoffs on some fluke, whatever. But I think either way, yeah, when we inevitably don't make the playoffs, I think it'll save us the misery and the embarrassment of what the first wild card series would even look like. So, but at any rate, no matter how it goes down, we'll be here, and we won't wait long to get into the off-season type talks. Obviously we jumped into that already because we've all but conceded the season as is. But parting words as we get up out of here, Coach.
You're beating me in fantasy too. I hate you.
I had to take a little peek and taunt you. What's his name? Sutton. I don't even know his first name.
Went off. Yeah,
he's snapping right now. So I'm feeling a little bit better. Hopefully my other fantasy team can get it going to salvage the Sunday. But we'll be back next week with another one.
Get your lick back. If a nigga gon' do something, ain't no chit chat. Better stay up out the way, don't get your shit splat. Stop